Microphone check, microphone check, microphone check. Okay, good stuff. All right, guys, so today what we're going to do is we're going to actually lay out our foundation plan for the second floor. And typically this is not going to be the same type of plan that we have with the slab on grade foundation. What we're going to do is we are going to utilize framing to frame up the second floor. Okay, so we'll go about this the same way we actually framed up the first floor. So we'll use the second floor plan that's here, and we'll actually go ahead and lay out our framing plan, our second floor framing. So let's go ahead and copy this guy down. And this one is not as extensive. We're just going to be using 2 by 12 members. They're going to be spaced 16 inches on center. We're going to have joist hangers and things of that nature. I'll explain all of that to you guys. And there will be no foundation details for the second floor framing, okay? Well, first things first, let's go ahead and copy it down. And if you didn't label this guy as foundation plan, let's go ahead and label it as foundation plan. Make sure it's saved in your drawing. Make sure it is on a 0 layer. That is a non-print layer, okay? Let's do the same thing for the second floor. So we're going to type in right here, foundation plan, second floor. Or frame, let's just say second floor framing plan. Okay. Let's just stretch this out for aesthetic purposes. I know it won't show up, but I just like to have things decent and in order. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and delete the dimensions that we have shown on the second floor plan, because we're going to add new dimensions that actually show us how the members are spaced for the framing plan at the second floor. So let's go ahead and delete all of this. Let's go ahead and delete the window markers as well. Make sure you copy down and don't move it, because if you move it, you overwrite all the work that you've done to date, okay? Make sure you're copying and not moving. All right. And, I don't know, that must be some type of overhang. And these are operable windows. Okay. So first things first, we can go ahead and take all of the interior components out. All we need is just the exterior walls, okay? And this is what we'll utilize to actually set up our framing plan. So let's go ahead and just highlight everything here and delete it out and clean it up really good, because all we want to show is the framing at the second floor. We don't want to show in things like furnishings and walls and things of that nature. We just want to show and give the contractor the floor plan as it regards him actually doing the framing for the second floor, okay? So let's go ahead and clean all of this up. Go ahead and take out this toilet. And we'll do the same thing like we did at the first floor. Let's go ahead and activate the rectangle drawing icon, REC. Let's go ahead and just draw a rectangle from exterior corner to exterior corner like this. And then let's take it and move it over 50 feet. Just move it over to the right 50 feet. And now let's go ahead and take this guy and we can delete it. Let's delete it. Then let's move this guy back over 50 feet to the left. All right. Now, first things first, let's go ahead and see if we can find the proper layers. I'm thinking we should just match what we've shown on the first floor S foundation. Let's see if there's an S foundation framing. We may just leave it on the slab edge layer. S foundation text, wall braces, dimensions. Yeah, we'll leave it on the slab edge layer. So just type in MA to activate the match properties command. Let's go ahead and select this guy here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to offset the exterior walls. And the reason being is we have to show how we're actually framing up the floor. Okay, if you guys remember, let me open up that section drawing to get you guys to understand what we are drawing here. Hold on one second. Let's open up the section drawing. Where is it? Sections. Let's open up this guy. I want to kind of just give you a short overview of the section as it regards the framing of the second floor so we can kind of understand what we're drawing here. Okay, so if you go to, let's just say, this wall section right here, okay, this is the second floor, and what's happening is we still have an update here. I'm going to actually include this for the final, but this is just a typical wall section. We're actually going to draw in the correct wall section, but let's stick with this guy right here. You see this 2x12 member, and you know it's actually 1'6", 1'5" by 11'5". Okay, so this is what we're going to show at the second floor. Okay, so now looking at it already, we know that the joists are spanning north and south. Okay, and this is that framing at the edge. So when we go back to this guy, in fact, let's copy this over. We'll copy this over and kind of just project some lines down so you guys can see how we're framing this up and where you actually get the second floor framing from. So let's go ahead and go back to the foundation plan and hit Control V. Let's just copy this in for right now. You can go ahead and delete the installation. You can delete the text. You can delete the exterior siding. Let's go ahead and take all of that out because right now we just want to primarily focus on the framing, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and delete this guy out. And we're not going to show any of this on the framing, right? We're just showing the framing plan. The overall dimensions on the framing plan is going to be a little bit different from the overall dimensions on the actual second floor plan because we're just showing the framing, which is this 2x member, okay? And these joists. But let's check something. Let's make sure we are actually, yeah, we are spanning it the shortest distance. This distance is longer. Going from east to west, we have 38, and north to south, it's actually 30. So we actually laid that out properly, which I knew I understood that because I was doing the laying out, right? Let's go back over to the model section drawing. So this is your second floor framing exterior. This is your member that's actually holding up the second floor. You have your 2x12 member, and then on top of it, you have your wall stud, right? I'm going to regen so you can actually see. On top of it, you have your wall stud, and then you have your second floor walls. But let's go all the way down to the floor, okay? And this is what I was saying about your actual second floor framing plan having a different overall dimension on the east and the north side than what we're showing on the floor plan, because we will only be measuring the framing members. We will not be measuring the inch and a half siding. We will not be measuring the 5/8 inch or the 3/4 inch plywood or OE or strand board, OSB. We will not take into account this small little airspace, this 1 inch airspace. We're only going to be dimensioning from the exterior framing member to the center of the framing members, okay? So if you notice, let's say if we project the line down right here, let's type in RAY. Let's project this line down. I just want you guys to see that it's a little bit different from, you know, the overall exterior dimension from this line to this line, right? So I just wanted you guys to see and understand that. I know some of you guys don't have architectural backgrounds and architectural histories, so I try to teach the course in a manner so everyone can understand it, okay? Now, let's go back to the foundation drawing. Now with this guy, let's go ahead and take the second floor walls off. Really, this is all we need to see. Let's take these guys out, and I'm just going to line this up. So I want you guys to see what I'm doing when I actually project these lines down and we actually start laying this out, right? I want you guys to get an understanding as we actually produce the drawing. Let's check the sound. Sound is working perfect. Good. Now let's go ahead and delete this. And let's stretch. And let's take this guy and move it. Grab it here and grab the bottom left corner here and place it at the top left corner of your framing, okay? So now what we're going to do is, we talked about the actual and nominal sizes of the actual members, the wood framing members. So a 2x12 is going to actually be, you know, 1.5 by 11.5. So that's what I want you to do. Let's go ahead and offset this guy to, and I think I drew it in there. Yeah, we drew it in at 2, okay? But let's offset it to 1.5 because we're going to draw the actual framing plan we need to actually draw in the members that are the correct size. We need to actually draw them in at actual sizes instead of drawing them in at nominal sizes. Okay, so type in the O for offset and go 1-1/2 inch. And just click offset, and there you go. There you have it. Okay, and because we use a rectangle or a square, it automatically offset everything. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to, let's draw a line from the edge here, because the framing members that are going to span across the floor, and they're going to span from north to south, they're going to be spaced 16 inches on center. Okay, uh, typically that is the correct spacing. You do not want to go anything greater than that. You know, if the client wants something a little bit more sturdier as regards to the structural integrity of the second floor, you can go 8 inches on center, but you know, in most cases with a 2x12 floor joist, 16 inches on center is actually optimal spacing. So let's go ahead and hit offset and just type in 16 for 16 inches. Let's offset this guy, okay? In fact, let's go from the center. I like to take these from the center. Sometimes these spacings will vary, okay? So let's go here. I like to go from the center of this guy, offset. And just go ahead and because what's happening is they'll actually look at this drawing to actually frame up the second floor plan. So this is a drawing that you want to actually put all of your sizes in as actual sizes. You do not want to put the nominal sizes in here. You want to put your actual sizes in so they can get, so you can give the contractor real dimensions when they actually frame up the second floor framing plan. Okay. And typically what I will do is typically when we draw, and you see how this one is a little bit off, and then you'll have one here. Let's just take this one and copy it. Sometimes that'll happen. In fact, that's what happened with the actual wall section here, okay? It's just a little bit off on this side because when you go up to the actual, this guy here, you can see we have these guys 16 inches on center. But sometime at the end, it'll be a little bit off, and that's fine, that's no problem. Instead of actually drawing another one in right here, which is overkill, I think we could span that distance at the end because you have all of this structural support here, and then this is going to be supporting the second floor. It's actually going to sit on top of the double top plate, okay? So that's why that one is a little bit off in the section drawing here. If you can see, this one is just a little bit off, okay? But like I said, this is what they're going to actually use to frame up the floor. They're going to use the first floor foundation plan to pour the slab, and they're going to use the second floor framing plan to actually frame up the second floor. So this is where you want to kind of work all of the intricacies out and make sure you have everything in place as it should be. Okay, so next thing you want to do is let's just take this guy right here, since it's, you know, I almost want to say, let me try this. Let's see. I think we made blocks out of these. Let's go ahead and explode it. And there's 100 ways to do one thing in AutoCAD. Explode this one. Okay, and then let's go ahead and draw a line up, because what we're going to do is we're going to copy this over. Okay. And, you know, it could be deemed as overkill, but I kind of want you guys to understand the process. And I want you to understand what you're doing as you matriculate throughout the video as well. Okay. So we're actually creating this member to be the actual size. Right now in the section, we drew them in at nominal sizes, okay? So let's go ahead and delete that. Let's go ahead and take this and move it, okay? Let's go ahead and take this and move it. Now, what we can do is we can actually type in BLOCK, and we can block this back up. We don't have to. Just say 1, 1, 11, and select the objects. I just like to do it to make sure I have a proper visual. And then click OK. And now we can take this guy and we can copy it, right? What you want to do is type in CO for copy and go to the center point. and you want to place it at the center, okay, of each of these lines, because at each of these offsets, because they are offset at 16 inches on center, which is the proper spacing that we want to show our second floor members framed up at 16 inches on center. Okay, so what you want to do is just copy them all the way across. What I like to do is when I get a bunch of them copied, I'll go and I'll get out of the copy command, hit the space bar to reactivate the copy command, and then just select a bunch of them, right? Because they're already 16 inches on center. And then you can come here, select the center here, and then go to the next one. Okay, I think I missed one. Yeah, we'll put that one in later. All right, and just click on the one that's at the end of the offset of the array that we're copying. All right, and now what you want to do is you want to just click here. And as you can see, these actually, they go past it. And we'll take this one, and let's just move this one back to the edge. And we don't need this one. This is a little bit overkill, okay? We don't need that one. I think that, you know, as long as it doesn't exceed 24, we're good. Plus it's at the end. Okay, so it's right at a little bit more, than 24, that's fine. Just leave it just like that. And what'll happen is, you know, most contractors are fine with that. But if they don't, if they have an issue with it, then you can say, hey, just go ahead and put another stud in right there, okay? Or we could do something, you know, like really crazy. But I typically, you know what? It's better to have overkill than not. So let's go ahead and just add this one in, and it could just be a little bit redundant, all right? Let's go ahead and copy this guy over. Hit delete, select here. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to project our lines across. So you want to hit RAY. And let's go ahead and project one here and then project one here. And now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and clean this guy up. Let's just clean it up. Okay. And we can put it on the foundation slab layer, match it, but give these guys here a different color. You know, I kind of like to see a little bit lighter blue there. Maybe not the cyan. I would say let's go with something like 122. Yeah, 122, 175, 223. Okay. So now that we have that drawn in, what we can do is we can highlight it and then just highlight it, and then we can just select on the center point here. Sorry guys, my phone was going off. Let's go ahead and copy these guys all the way across. And I want to see, you know, I don't like that additional member on the end. So I'm going to look at that and see if we could kind of center it up. I'll see what's what on the other side. Okay, so just keep copying all the way across. Copy all the way across. And I want to try to center these up, because I'm typically, you know, I like a term that's known as symmetrical. I like things to be symmetrical, okay? So as long as we are showing a bit of consistency as it regards the layout of the floor joist, then everything's going to be all good. Actually, we could leave it, you know, the way it is, but if I was actually getting ready to submit these plans let's just say for approval, let's go ahead and copy this one over. Then what I would want to do is, now we can go ahead and delete all of these. Well, now let's leave them for right now. Instead of having this guy centered up like that, I would take this one out, okay? I would take this guy out, and I would try something like this. Let's go ahead and select this line, and then draw a line here. This is the center, okay? Then I would draw a line here, okay? And I probably should have done this before we actually span all of our joists. But let's see, if we move it that way, or we move it this way, okay, now, so what I'm asking myself if I want to do is I want to actually center this up some. So let's see, what do we have here? What's the spacing that we have between here and here? Okay. So let's just say 16, and then from here to here we have 5 inches. So if we move this guy over something, let's see, this is, so let's take these guys and move them over just a little bit, so we don't exceed that 2-foot O spacing on the end. You see what I'm saying? Let's take these guys and let's move them over. And again, as stated, it's really not a big deal. Let's take this and move it something like that. Okay. So that'll give us a little bit of symmetry. That way it's not such a glaring issue. So let's go ahead and copy this guy. Or we can actually delete these now. Okay. So as you can see on this end, we have similar spacing on each end. Okay. And that spacing is actually less than my 2-foot, perfect, my 2-foot threshold. Okay. And it's not an industry standard. I just don't like to go past, 24 feet when you're doing spacing on floor joists, unless you go with a bigger size member. But right now we're sticking with the 2x12 member. Okay, so this is basically your framing plan. All right. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and annotate this up. Okay. First and foremost, you want to go ahead and add dimensions. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go here, and what we're going to have to do is, I should not have deleted those. Let's see, let's go back, see if we can bring them back. Yeah, okay. What you want to do is, let's go ahead and select the dimension tool, and you want to click here, and you want to click here, and just bring it up. And go ahead and add your dimensions all the way across, okay? Just like that. As you can see, all of these guys are 1 foot 4 inches on center. Okay. Okay, guys, let's continue. So yeah, let's go ahead and place all of your 2x members. Let's go ahead and copy one over. I forgot to copy this one. Okay. Now let's go ahead and finish adding the dimensions. Just press the dimension icon, or type in DI or VL. Let's go ahead and just dimension. And actually in AutoCAD, you can just copy. You can copy your dimensions. Oh. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all of these all the way over. So you'll have a dimension that will give you the spacing of the members, and then you'll have an overall dimension, okay? Then after we add dimensions, it's at that point it's just simple notes. Okay, and then there are some details that we would show. We'll include that at a later date. Just copy it all the way across. And then for this last one, it's a different dimension, so we'll just actually draw a new one here. And I think we went on this guy, we went from there to exterior. And as you can see, we have 1 foot 9.5 on both ends, 1 foot 9.5. Right. So what you would do here is now you would go and you would add an overall dimension, okay? So what you want to do is you want to come here, and you want to come here. All right, so that's 35 foot, 38 foot 3.5. Okay. Now you can go ahead and delete all of these 2x12 members. Take them out. In fact, just due to time constraint, just highlight them all. Then hold down the shift key and unhighlight. You can hit delete and take them all out. Okay. So this tells the contractor, hey, we have these guys that spaced. Now, we are spanning. Let's go back and look at the span table. There is a span chart that we need to look at, because right now on this side we are spanning. We may have to break it up. Okay. We are spanning 29 feet. Okay. So let's say max span of max span of a 2x12. It'll tell you. So floor joists, it can span up to 23 feet. Okay. So right now we are within that range, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go back and drop another. Which one was it? F2. Microphone check. Okay. All right, good stuff, guys. The microphone went out. I just had to go ahead and fix it. So what I did here was I added a member at the center of this 29-foot span, because what we did was when we included these, we exceeded the span chart. The span chart only calls for 23 feet for a 2x12 member. So now that we've included this member at the center going horizontal, now each member on each side is 14 feet and it falls within the span distance. So therefore we're not, decreasing the structural integrity of the 2x12 floor joist. Okay. So, yeah, you guys probably didn't get the sound on that, but you can watch me do it, and that's exactly what we did, and that's exactly why we done it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add the dimensions right here. All right, just give us an overall dimension, because again, it's going to be different from the overall dimension of the second floor. Let's go back. Let's just move it out some. Like that. Well, no, let's just delete it. It's not acting right. And let's go ahead and drop another one in there, so we can make sure everything is as it should be. Okay, so we have 30 feet. Let's go ahead and move it in just a little bit, right there. So what you have is 38, 3.5 by 30 feet. Okay, that is your second floor framing. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to go in and we have to call out all of these members. And basically they're all going to be 2x12. So again, we will keep it simple. And let's go ahead and place our section markers, because we're going to have some details here that I'm going to have you guys draw up. So just copy. Let's go ahead and bring this guy down. So we'll have a detail here. Hit function F8. Boom. Now, copy. We have detail right here. Let's take this guy over. We're going to have a detail right here. And we'll put one on this side, just to show how it's actually working together. Okay? Just like that. And let's rotate this. I think we have to explode this. Yeah. Let's explode it. Now you want to rotate this guy, because it's got to be horizontal, right? And you want to rotate this guy, because it's got to be horizontal. And then just move this guy over. Just like that. Okay? Just go ahead and re-block it. Just don't block the alphabet with it. Okay. Now let's move this guy down just a little bit. Let's move it all down. Okay. And then move it over into the wall to show that we're going to have a section cut there. Okay. And don't worry about the section cuts right now. We'll have videos for that later. Again, I may include these for the final. That way you guys can just actually draw the sections and modify some of the details in the form of an addenda for the final, and you issue it in a sketch, so I can show you guys how ASI's architectural supplemental instructions work, and how addendas work, and how RFIs work, requests for informations work. Okay, because what's happening is the original set, we're not going to have these drawings actually in there, and what the contractor will do is, after he has bid the job and he's won the project, what he will do is he will submit an RFI saying, hey, we need to know how these members are going to be hung at this location. Okay, so what you do is you answer the RFI with a drawing showing him how that detail actually works, and then you submit it in an ASI. And it's different from an architectural drawing sheet. An ASI is typically submitted on an 11 by 17 or an 8.5 by 11 sheet with just one detail, one drawing, giving the contractor one specific set of instructions. Okay, so I want you guys to get the full gist of that, and that's probably how we're going to actually have some drawing portions for our final exam. Okay, So now the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and add some text. So let's go ahead and copy some of this text down, right? Okay. Let's copy some of this text down. Now, what we need to do is we need to go back to our section drawing, and we need to determine there are some things in these wall sections that we need to add. Like there is, finished floor. We need to show the finished floor marker, okay? And we will include that. We will include that, okay? I didn't want you guys to worry about that because it was enough information to get you guys to actually draw the wall sections in, okay, at the brick portion of the building and at the siding portion of the building. Uh, but we will include things like we should have a tag here, okay, and it should have like a little circle right here. And it should something like this. And then let's see, we'll move this up. And I typically would have stretched this, but it was already embedded in the brick. So let's go ahead and copy this down. And let's go ahead and take a dimension. The finished floor at the second floor, okay? So let's just say the finished floor is actually 10 feet, okay? It's measuring 10 and a half, but we'll just call it out at 10 feet. And we'll include that a little bit later, okay? So let's get some of the, we'll get some of the, we're gonna really press in on some of the details, guys, once we get the bulk of the drawings complete, okay? So I want you guys to be mindful there, okay? It's not like we're not doing stuff, it's just a process. The only reason why I didn't draw those details because I want to show you guys how RFIs are submitted and how ASIs are submitted back to the contractor in the form of a sketch. So we're going to do a lot of details in that regard, okay? We'll go back and we'll add things. So let's just go back to our foundation plan, okay? And let's just say that the finished floor at the second floor is 10 feet, okay? So you'll go here and you'll type in elevation 10 feet finished floor. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this around. Let's move it here. I like to put it in more than one spot. All right, let's go here. And then you want to copy this guy. And let's select these two, and then you want to actually copy them up to the top. All right, so that'll tell us the elevation of the finished floor. Let's actually put one at the center where we have the center joist. Right here, okay? Now what we want to do is we want to call out some things, okay? So we'll call these guys out. Let's go ahead and copy this. Let's copy this guy down. Show you what we're going to do here, okay? And double click and let's type over it. And what you want is a 2-inch by 12-inch floor joist, G-O-I-S-T, and you want to say at 16 inches on center, O dot C dot, okay? And what you want to do is you want to rotate this to a vertical rotation like that. Let's go ahead and move it to the center. And now let's copy this around, okay? Let's take this and move it. And let's just say you place one right here. Copy it around. Okay, and let's just place one right here. Maybe in the center, maybe. Something like that. Let's drop one right here. So let's see if we can get it to where, yeah, that's fine. Just leave it just like that. And then let's copy another one. 2x12 floor joist at 16 inches on center. Let's put another one right here. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to actually point to something. So let's type in LE for leader. And turn off the ortho. So hit your F8. If you're on a laptop, it's functioning F8 more than likely. Then turn it back on, function F8. Let's go ahead and click here. All right. Now, let's match what we have on the second floor. Let's select that guy. And come and select this guy. I don't know what's up with the meters. Okay, let's see. Arrow size 10 inches. I don't want 10 inches. Arrow size, let's say 3 foot. Let's see if we can get it to actually show something. LE. My leaders have not been working properly. Okay. Okay, microphone check. Okay, so I figured out what was going on with the leaders. This is what you have to do if you're having problems with your leaders showing up when you get rid of the master properties of those leaders. Just type in LE, and what you want to do is you want to select right here, okay? And then you want to come up and then come over. What's happening is it's not, this portion of the leader line has to be a specific length for it to actually read and show. So what you want to do is you want to hit MA now. The master properties of these guys is on the foundation plan for the first floor, and then select right here, okay? Now, what I didn't try to see if I could move it and it actually stay the same. But see, as you get smaller, it goes away. So typically what I would like to do is I would come and do something like this, come and do something, maybe like that, okay? I don't like that, but it is what it is. We'll leave it as is for right now. In fact, go ahead and drag it back down to that guy, okay? Now you can take this and then you can mirror it, right? So you can take this and hit select it and hit MI for mirror. Hit enter. Now let's take this guy and move it over. All right. Make sure it doesn't snap to something else. Make sure it snaps to where you want it to snap to. Okay. And if you're having that issue, you can turn the F3 off. So hit function F3, turn it off. That way you can place it anywhere you want to place it. Right there. Let's go ahead and move it out some. Okay. Now that this is placed like you like it, you can copy it up to all of the other annotations. Okay? Just like that. This lets the contractor know that the floor consists of 2x12 joists and that they're spaced 1 foot 4 inches on center. All right? Now, what you can do is you can also come here and let's just copy, let's copy this guy down. We're already calling out the elevation at 10 feet. So copy this guy down, okay? And you want to come here and overwrite it. I'm going to type in 2 inch by 12 inch. Let's say 2 inch by 12 inch framing. Okay. And you want to kind of move it to the center. You want to place one of these on the exterior, right? So let's go ahead and move it up. Then hit LE. Something like that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and match. Well, we can match the same one. Right? Now we can take this and we can do something like that. And then we can stretch this to actually show something like that. But I actually think these leaders are a little bit too big. Let's change our leader sizes and let's check the sound. Sound looks good. Okay. Let's change our leader sizes. Right now, what do we have them drawn in at? 10 inches. Let's change our leader sizes to, I would say, let's go down 3 inches. Let's see how that works. Actually, let's go down a little bit more. Change it to 5 inches. Yeah, that's perfect. And let's go ahead and stretch this guy down some because it should read something like that, right? Now you can take this one and mirror it up. Turn your function F3 back on, or just hit F3 if you're on the desktop. Let's go ahead and move this over, just like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and match all of the others to actually make that leader size a little bit smaller. It's just a little bit big for the second floor plan. Okay. You guys can keep your head on a swivel for the updates on the wall sections. I may try to get it in before the final. So now let's take this guy and let's go ahead and move it to the center. And then let's go ahead and copy this to the top side. And you want to actually place this somewhere right here, okay? Delete one of these. Take this one and mirror it. Mirror it down. Hit yes. And let's go ahead and move this up to where it's actually touching that rafter. Let's go ahead and stretch this guy down right here. Hit S for stretch. Boom. Now let's go ahead and mirror it as well, because you're going to put this on the other side, right? So there you go, just like that, okay? And we'll actually show another one. Take this 2x12 framing and copy it on the east and west side. Double click it, select right here and hit enter to put the, let's see. Okay, so what we got to do is going to have to do 2. So you got 2x12 framing. Alright, so now what you want to do is you want to move. Let's go ahead and move these guys up. In fact, let's move them outside of the dimension line here. And hit LE for leader. Hit MA to match the properties of the other leaders. Get this one to show up. Now let's go ahead and copy this guy down. Now let's take these guys and we can mirror them, right, to the other side. We have this one showing inside of the bubble here, so let's move it down just a little bit. Okay. All right, so there's your second floor framing plan. Okay, there are some notes that I'm probably gonna add. Let's see. Testing. Okay, guys. So I have just made an executive decision. What we are going to do is there are some notes that we're going to add to the first floor slab on grade foundation plan. And there are some notes that we're going to add to the second floor framing plan. Okay, but keep your heads on a swivel for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to issue it in a set, and it's probably going to be for the final where we'll actually note things up and we'll draw the details for the foundation plan at the first floor and at the second floor. Okay, so this is essentially how you draw your second floor foundation framing plan, your first floor foundation, and your second floor framing plan. I'll say it right in a moment. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, okay? So let me go ahead and get these videos uploaded for you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in class on tomorrow evening. Thank you and have a great day.